Good morning. Today we are going to discuss on the frequency response characteristics of a second order system. A second order system has resistance, inductance and the capacitance. So this is the standard second order RLC type of system. So let us look at the expression for the transfer function. So what is V naught S? V naught S is R plus Ls plus 1 by Cs into I of S. And what is V naught? V naught of S is 1 by Cs into I of S. So what is V naught of S by V naught of S? So 1 by Cs I of S divided by your CS will come as an LCM. So RCS plus LC S square plus 1. So that is what we have written here. So CS and CS gets cancelled. We are ending up with the expression V naught of S by V naught of S is 1 by LCS square plus RCS plus 1. The standard form of second order expression is omega n square by S square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. Here, if you just compare the expressions, our omega n square is 1 by LC, so omega n becomes 1 by root LC. Similarly, comparing 2 zeta omega n with R by L, we can find out the value of zeta, the damping factor, to be R by 2L into root LC. Root L and root L is cancelled here, so you are left out with R by 2 root C by L. This expression will help us in designing a particular system with a specific damping factor zeta. Right? So, let us assume for the first case, our damping factor zeta is 0.158. The inductance given is 100 millihenry and the capacitance is 0.01 microfarad. What is the value of R for this particular expression? R is given by 2 zeta root L by C. So 2 into 0.158 into 100 milli raised to the power minus 3 divided by 0.01 micro to the power minus 6, and we will be getting a value of resistance as 1 kilo. Similarly, by giving the damping factor to 1 and 1.58, we can get the expression for the value of resistance for overdamped system and critically damped system. Let us now try to derive the expression for omega R, the peak resonant frequency. To do that, in the standard form of second order expression, omega n square by S square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square, what are we going to do? We are going to replace S with j omega. When we replace S with j omega, what are we going to get? Omega n square by j square omega n square. J square is minus 1, so it is minus omega square plus 2 zeta omega n s with j omega then plus omega n square. The next step will be to divide both the numerator and denominator with omega n square, so that you get a unity over here and you can simplify this particular expression. So what are we going to do? Divide the numerator, denominator both with the term omega n square. When we divide, we are ending up with the expression V naught by n is nothing but 1 divided by 1 minus omega by omega n square plus j into 2 zeta omega by omega n. Now, we can further simplify this by assuming the value of omega by omega n to be x. So, replace omega by omega n with x and you will get the expression 1 divided by 1 minus x square plus j 2 zeta x. The magnitude of x plus jy is root of x square plus y square. So, the magnitude of this particular expression can be obtained by 1 by, here x is 1 minus x square, so it is 1 minus x square whole square plus 2 zeta x, that is our y. The square of it becomes 4 zeta square x square. Okay, so that's the way we have got this particular expression for magnitude. Once we get the expression for magnitude, to get the peak value of the magnitude and the value of omega, the resonant frequency at that particular value, we have to differentiate it with respect to x. So when we differentiate, what are we going to get? So 1 by root x is nothing but the d by dx of 1 by root x is 1 by 2 root x. Similarly, this becomes 1 by 2 into root of 1 minus x square whole square plus 4 zeta square x square. That is what I have written here. After that, the derivative of 1 minus x square whole square. This is 2 into 1 minus x square and interval the derivative of minus x square, that is minus 2x. So that is what I have written, 2 into 1 minus x square. After that, the derivative of this, it is minus 2x plus, what is the derivative of this part? 4 zeta square x square, derivative is 8 zeta square x. So that is what is written here. After this, what is the next step? We have to equate this derivative to 0, because at any peak value, derivative at the peak is 0, or similarly maxima and minima. Here at the minimum also the derivative will become 0. So 4x, here 2 into 2x, so it is 4x into 1 minus x square is equals to, because this negative sign is there, we have shifted, so we have got an equals to times sign 8x square, 8 zeta square x. So that is what is written here. Now 4 2's 8, x and x gets cancelled. So what are we left with? X square. 1 minus x square becomes 2 zeta square. This minus x square, we shift the other side. What are we going to get? 1 minus 2 zeta square is x square, or x square is 1 minus 2 zeta square. But what is our assumption of x? We have assumed the x to be omega by omega n. Replace now. So we are getting omega by omega n square is nothing but 1 minus 2 zeta square, or omega, our resonant frequency, is obtained by omega n root of 1 minus zeta square. So this is the final expression for calculating theoretically the value of resonant frequency given from omega n. What is our omega n? Omega n is nothing but the natural resonant frequency 1 by root LC, and zeta is our damping factor. If we know zeta, if we know omega n, theoretically we can obtain the value of resonant frequency by this expression. The next expression that we are going to see is our resonant peak. How to obtain MP. So that's the next topic. Continuing with the problem, omega is omega n root 1 minus zeta square. We can just put x square as 1 minus 2 zeta square, or 1 minus x square is nothing but 2 zeta square. So that's what I've written here. 1 minus x square is 2 zeta square. Now just look our expression for MR. MR is 1 by root of 1 minus x square whole square plus 4 zeta square x square. Here the value of x square and 1 minus x square, we are replacing with corresponding values. So this becomes MR is 1 by root of 1 minus x square. It is nothing but 2 zeta square. 1 minus x square whole square becomes 4 zeta to the power 4 plus 4 zeta square, as it is 4 zeta square. Then x square. X square is what? 1 minus 2 zeta square. So that is what is put here. Instead of x square, we have replaced with 1 minus 2 zeta square. X square, if you take left, you get 1 minus 2 zeta square. So here 4 zeta to the power 4 as it is, plus 4 zeta square into 1, 4 zeta square, 4 zeta square into minus 2 zeta square, 8 zeta to the power 4. So here we are left with 1 by 4 zeta square plus minus 4 zeta to the power 4. What is left with? 1 by root of 4 zeta square minus 4 zeta to the power 4. To take 4 zeta square out, what are you going to get? 1 by 2 zeta root 1 minus zeta square. This is our expression for MR. So the resonant frequency MR can be finally rewritten as written as 1 by 2 zeta root 1 minus zeta square. We just compare response specifications. Omega B, the damped natural frequency in time domain is omega n root 1 minus zeta square, where omega n is 1 by delta AC, zeta is the damping factor, and peak percentage overshoot NP is divided to B to the power minus 5 zeta by root 1 minus zeta square. The same in frequency domain, omega L is omega n, omega L is the resonant frequency is divided to be omega n into root 1 minus 2 zeta square, and MR, the resonant magnitude peak is 1 by 2 zeta root 1 minus zeta square. With this, we can compare the theoretical values with the practical values. In the lab, we can substitute the expressions for the values of inductance, capacitance, damping factor, and derive these values, expressions, compare with theoretical values. We will be seeing the conduction, how we are going to conduct in the lab shortly. Now we are seeing frequency response kit for the second order system. Here we have a signal generator, a source of 3 volts which is provided through our input, and you are seeing 3 different resistors, 1K, 6.2K and 10K. These are used to provide underdamped response with damping factor zeta of 0.158 for R1 is 1. Yesterday we have derived in the expression, in the class also we have derived. So here we are seeing that the same values of 0.158 give us a resistance of 1K. Similarly, for damping factor of 1, that is critically damped system, we have resistance calculation to be 6.2K. Similarly, for overdamped system with 1.58 damping factor, we have calculated the resistance value to be 10K. So these are the 3 different resistors. Inductor and capacitor are fixed here with 100 millihenry and 0.01 microfarad. So these are the values that we have used in our derivation previously. So just let us start our connections from the AC output, which is actually our input. Let us connect it to the resistance R1. Now we are studying the behavior of underdamped system. So now R1, L and C are internally connected, so we don't have to do any other connections here. The ground terminal, below the capacitor, 0.01 microfarad, we have to return it to the supply source ground. Now to measure the input voltage, we are connecting our display to the AC input terminal. Actually that output is actually our input to the system. So we are connecting AC input, and then the output we have to measure across the capacitor. So output is measured across the capacitor. Now we need to set our input voltage Vin to be 3 volts. Slightly reduce it to input voltage to 3 volts or 3.6 volts, whatever is required. 3.6 enough. Now shift that in Vin mode to V0 mode, output mode, and set the frequency to 100 Hz. Now you are seeing. So now the frequencies has been increased from 500 Hz, 1K, 1.5K, 2K, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and we have observed that the voltage has been continuously rising to 6.5 volts. The phase is also increasing. Now let us see what happens to beyond when we increase the frequency beyond 3.5. Go to 4K. We are seeing the voltage rise to 7.6 volts. Our input voltage was 3.6, output is 7.6. Now increase it to 4.5K. Here the phase, the voltage output V0 has increased to 8 volts maximum in our case. Let us see if what happens further when we increase the frequency. Change it to 5K. So we are seeing that there's a rapid fall from 7.3 volts. Directly the output voltage has fallen to 4.4 volts. Here a little bit step-by-step readings might be required, and we see that any further increase of frequency above 5K results in fall in the gain. The same readings are plotted using a tabular column. Our first is for zeta is 0.158, our underdamped system. So various readings are plotted, and similarly we can do the experiment by connecting the resistor to 1K. That gives us a critically damped system, and if we connect the resistors to 10K, we'll get a volt. So now the frequencies has been increased from 500 Hz, 1K, 1.5K, 2K, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and we have observed that the voltage has been continuously rising to 6.5 volts. The phase is also increasing. Now let us see what happens to beyond when we increase the frequency beyond 3.5. Go to 4K. We are seeing the voltage rise to 7.6 volts. Our input voltage was 3.6, output is 7.6. Now increase it to 4.5K. Here the phase, the voltage output V0 has increased to 8 volts maximum in our case. Let us see what happens further when we increase the frequency. Change it to 5K. So we are seeing that there's a rapid fall from 7.3 volts. Directly the output voltage has fallen to 4.4 volts. Here a little bit step-by-step readings might be required, and we see that any further increase of frequency above 5K results in fall in the gain. The same readings are plotted using a tabular column. Our first is for zeta is 0.158, our underdamped system. So various readings are plotted, and similarly we can do the experiment by connecting the resistor to 1K. That gives us a critically damped system, and if we connect the resistors to 10K, we'll get a volt. Omega R, as we have already derived in the last class, is equals to omega n root 1 minus 2 zeta square. Our zeta is damping factor, L is 100 millihenry in our hardware, capacitor is 0.01 microfarad, and zeta, the damping factor, is 0.158. This is for underdamped system, that is what we have designed for. And now omega n is 1 by root LC, the undamped natural frequency is given by 1 by root LC. So we have substituted and we have got it to be 31,622.7 radian per second. Now omega R is omega n root of 1 minus 2 zeta square. Substituting that, we are getting 30,043 as the resonant frequency, and to get FR, we are dividing the omega R divided by 2 pi. So we get 4.77K, which is tallying with our hardware result done just now. MR, the peak amplitude, is obtained by using the expression 1 by 2 zeta root 1 minus zeta square, as has been derived yesterday, the last class. So substitute that 1 by 2 into 0.158 into root of 1 minus 0.158 square, that gives us 3.2. So the relation between V0 by Vn is around 3 times, but what we practically observed is 8 volts, which is lesser by 1 volt. It could be because of the drop in the inductance and other losses which are occurring in the circuit. Once we complete the study by varying frequency from 100 Hz to around 8 kHz, we shift the knob from the underdamped to study the critically damped case from resistance 1K to 6.2K and continue the experiment. In the second case, we will not be seeing the gain that we have seen observed in the underdamped case. There will not be any peak overshoot also. So there'll be even in the frequency graph also we are not going to see a huge rise in the frequency output voltage with change in frequency. So here we are seeing 91 Hertz, V in is 3.8 volts and V naught is 3.9 volts at 100 Hertz. As we go on increasing the frequency, you would be observing that the output voltage, what is happening to the output voltage? Just observe. Output voltage is falling, 3.6. It was oscillating, but it is falling. Frequency is 500 Hertz now and output voltage has fallen to 3.6. As we further increase the frequency to 1K, see that the phase has further risen to 21 degree lagging. Go on increasing the frequency to the maximum 1K. Now once beyond 1K, if you have to shift the knob up. So we go on increasing the frequency. Output has fallen 3.2, 2.7 at 61 degree. As we increase further frequency, we see only one type of behavior, that output voltage magnitude is only reducing with respect to frequency. This is about our critically damped case. So what is the difference between underdamped case and critically damped case? In underdamped case, the gain will initially increase till the resonant frequency occurs, and beyond the resonant frequency, the gain will rapidly fall with respect to frequency. Whereas in critically damped case, you won't see a rise. After a delay, there is a fall in the output voltage magnitude. So that's what is the observation. Now to study the overdamped frequency characteristics, we'll be shifting the resistance value to 10K and switch on the system. So V in is around 3.5 volts and 92 Hertz. .6 volts is the V in and 3.5 volts is the output voltage at 100 Hertz, and 2 degree is the phase lag. Just observe what is happening to the phase lag as well as output voltage magnitude. So output voltage, the phase lag is increasing. It has become 23 now. Maximum frequency has reached, so we'll shift and go back to 1 kilohertz. At 1 kilohertz, V naught is 3.1 volts at 34 degree lagging. Go to 1.5K. 1.5K, we are seeing 2.5 volts at 45 degree. Go to 2K. 2K we'll observe it's around 1.4 at 70, 1.2 at 86 degree. So this is the behavior of our critically damped, not critically damped, overdamped system. So here we are seeing frequency response characteristics of underdamped, critically damped and overdamped system. We just look at what are the observations being done. You have frequency, we are noting V in, V naught, then 20 log V naught by V in, that is nothing but your gain, then phase. The same for critically damped and overdamped systems. And if you just observe the readings, you see that the gain increases till the frequency reaches around 4.5K. Beyond that, the gain has been reducing. In critically damped and overdamped system, you don't observe that particular phenomena. Just look at the graph. You see that the gain has increased for the underdamped system, but not for critically damped or overdamped systems. And phase is also plotted with respect to frequency. So these are the studies about our frequency response characteristics. So what is the application of this? For an unknown system, if we do not know the what is a transfer function of a particular system, using frequency response characteristics, from there you can get back using our Bode plot. This is actually a frequency response characteristic. So using a standard notation, you can get the transfer function and estimate the transfer function for an unknown system. Apart from that, underdamped system is used everywhere. Most of the systems are underdamped in nature. Critically damped systems are more used in robotic kind of applications where you don't need much of oscillations, and overdamped system has a bit lesser applications. Thank you.